This is the broadcast for April 29, 2019. Environmental Justice, PFAS. Trade-offs sweep through the porous terrain. So we wonder over an uncontrolled experiment, then bring disputes to the fore. While it's difficult to avoid exposure to toxins in the 21st century, identifying and limiting prolonged exposure to specific chemicals will increase the ability to maintain health and resilience. One prevalent group of compounds known to have negative health effects are PFAS chemicals. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, are a group of man-made chemicals that includes PFOA, PFOS, GenX, and many other chemicals. PFAS have been used in industries around the globe and in the U.S. for over half a century. Because PFAS compounds repel grease and water, they have been used for a host of processes and consumer products, from wrapping paper for hamburgers to microwave popcorn bags, from nonstick cookware to carpet and upholstery stain guards, from waterproofing shoes and clothes to use in chrome-plated industries and even dental floss. There are thousands of PFAS chemicals. PFOA, formerly used to make Teflon, and PFOS, formerly an ingredient in 3M Scotchgard, are the most studied PFAS chemicals. These two chemicals have been voluntarily phased out by industry, though they are still persistent in the environment. Currently, the EPA has no legal limits for PFOA and PFOS in drinking water, only a non-enforceable health advisory level of 70 ppt for either chemical or the two combined. There is evidence, though, that exposure to PFAS can lead to adverse health outcomes in humans. If humans or animals ingest PFAS, by eating or drinking water or food that contain PFAS, the PFAS are absorbed and can accumulate in the body. Studies indicate that PFOA and PFOS can cause reproductive and developmental, liver and kidney, and immunological effects in laboratory animals. Both chemicals have caused tumors in animal studies. Both chemicals are now banned in the U.S., but manufacturers have replaced them with structurally similar, largely untested chemicals that may be no safer. GenX and PFBS, the two first compounds the chemical industry has begun making to replace PFOS and PFOA, carry their own health concerns. The EPA recently announced that toxicological studies show human livers are sensitive to GenX chemicals and the kidney and thyroid are sensitive to PFBS. To help track contamination of PFAS in the U.S., the Social Science Environmental Health Research Institute and EWG developed an interactive map showing pollution for 94 sites in 22 states, including industrial plants and dumps, military air bases, civilian airports, and fire training sites. In May of 2018, the Pentagon disclosed a list of U.S. military installations where water contamination levels of PFOS and PFOA exceeds the EPA's lifetime health advisory level. The EWG's most up-to-date map includes these military bases identified by the Pentagon, bringing the total number of contamination sites in the U.S. to 172. One state getting a lot of attention lately for PFAS contamination is Michigan. About 46 Michigan locations have PFAS compounds in groundwater that exceed the EPA's 70 parts per trillion health advisory level. The Michigan Department of Environmental Quality has estimated PFAS could be found at more than 11,300 sites in Michigan. 17 rivers, lakes, streams, and ponds throughout Michigan have do not eat fish advisories or limitations on consumption of fish because of PFOS contamination. And last year, Michigan became the first state to issue a PFAS-related do not eat advisory for deer within a 5-mile radius of Clark's Marsh. Wynn Steltz, one longtime Michigan resident who drank PFAS-tainted tap water for about 25 years, now carries the chemicals in her blood at levels 750 times the average American. In 2017, Wynne Stelz learned that her drinking water was tainted by a plume of PFAS groundwater contamination that came from a landfill across the street from her house in the Kent County community of Belmont, where Wolverine Worldwide, the longtime shoe and leather products maker in the neighboring Rockford, for years dumped waste sludge from its tannery. The PFAS levels in Wynne Stelz's drinking water tested as high as 76,000 parts per trillion. In March 2016, her husband Joel died at age 61 of liver cancer. She wonders whether the exposure to PFAS contamination caused her husband's cancer. Let us refresh our organic respiration and act with clear-eyed resolve.